The NBA All-Star Weekend has come and gone, and despite some reactions to All-Star Weekend, we're going to talk about one of those specifically, in which Kevin Durant basically says people should stop showing up to the All-Star game. We're going to talk a little bit about that, plus Brandon Ingram and his contract extension, and we're going to be looking more importantly at all the storylines to look out for coming out of the All-Star break once games start back. We're going to use all that and more right after this.
Welcome to the number one place for your daily basketball news and analysis, NBA Central.
What's going on, basketball fans? Welcome to another episode of NBA Central, your number one spot for everything basketball related. I'm the host, Hayes, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at NBA Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go ahead and get into it for today, y'all. I want to start off with the comments coming out from Kevin Durant after the All-Star game saying this: I think it's more fun to complain about the NBA than to actually watch it. Crazy, cancel All-Star weekend and let's just give everybody a break since we're so miserable around this time. Now, here's the thing, right? Kevin Durant is somebody who likes to say shit, and sometimes Kevin Durant, like, he does he's very real about stuff. I think he's real either way. He's talking about his real opinions, but to say let's just cancel it because everybody's miserable and they want to complain more than they actually watch it. No, there's people that actually watch this, that have been used to watching this for years, that are tired of just the craziness of it all, like how disappointing it is. Now, I will say this: I enjoy the format of the All-Star game this year. I enjoy the tournament format. Actually, think the biggest thing that was kind of a negative for me is all the stoppage in play, the In Vogue concert in the middle, Kevin Hart, like, just get to just playing basketball. And I think that this was some of the best basketball product that you'll get from these guys in a while, right? Now, he goes on to say this: I get it. My point is, fans complain about everything. Like, nothing is good enough for the fans right now. Only thing they enjoy is playoffs, trade deadline, free agency, and when players beef with each other. Well, I mean, those things have always been enjoyed by fans. But the thing is, the All-Star weekend just isn't good. When you look at, and it's tone deaf to act like it's just fans wanting to complain. Adam Silver's talked about it and the competitiveness. Hell, reportedly, there was a whole thing where Adam Silver, the NBA PA, is trying to get players to take All-Star weekend more seriously. So to act like it's just people just want to complain, it's stupid. I mean, you even got somebody like Trae Young coming out and saying, to be honest, I didn't like it at all. I don't like the breaks. The games were so short. Obviously, we can score. So they're trying to extend the game, extend the TV time with breaks and things like that. Again, there are serious things. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander as well saying, I would rather play without breaks. And he did say this, but I had fun nonetheless. I feel like it was a little bit more towards the competitive side tonight. You know why he's saying that, Kevin Durant? Because there is a problem with the competitive nature in All-Star games. That's why he's saying that. So to act like it's just fans wanting to complain, it's just real tone deaf, and it's just not accurate, right? You've had fans, you've had analysts, hell, you got people who are leading your NBA PA and the damn commissioner of the league complaining about the competitiveness of it. Are there some instances of people just wanting to complain? Absolutely. But let's not act like there hasn't been some legitimate downturns of the competitiveness of the NBA All-Star game. Now, I do think that Adam Silver's trying to figure it out. I do think the NBA is trying to figure it out. And like I said before, the actual basketball that was played today, this weekend, I get that, yeah, it seemed a little short. It did feel short. I think extended to 50 points, right? And then remove the breaks. I think you may have something there and that you can refine and work on year after year to build towards. But let's not do that where we act like it's not some type of overarching problem with All-Star Weekend. There is an overarching problem with All-Star Weekend. But the NBA is going to continue to try to do some things to figure it out, to make it more competitive, to make it more of an enjoyable product. But here's what I'll say. I mean, listen, the NFL changed the Pro Bowl. If it ends up being this thing where people just aren't going to tune in for real, I mean, listen, the NBA All-Star Weekend got beat by NHL this past week. And that is something you seriously have to look at and consider when it's all said and done to it. But we'll see where the future holds. But let me know what you guys think on it down below. How did you feel about the changes to All-Star Weekend? Were they good changes? Were they bad changes? Did it make it a little bit more interested in it as well? Let me know what you guys think on that down below. With that said, right, I want to talk about some of the biggest storylines that we're good that could be focused on coming out of the All-Star break. And the one that I think everybody's going to look at is how good can the Lakers be the rest of the season? Of course, that's a huge one. You added Luka Dončić, an MVP caliber player, right? And of course, with the trade of Mark Williams not going through, which There's still something like a mock trial that could be going down in the NBA with Adam Silver looking over it to make a final decision on it, but haven't heard anything about that, since over the All-Star break. But can the Lakers be good enough to turn into contenders? Now, my personal opinion, looking at the Lakers, I do think that they're a team to watch out for that could make it interesting in the playoffs. I just don't see them being at the level of OKC Thunder, Memphis Grizzlies, the Denver Nuggets, for that matter. The Houston Rockets are starting to come back down to earth a little bit more, so maybe they can get up to that 4th seed, can the Lakers, with the talent that they have? But the bigger question with the Lakers is, can they play defense good enough to actually make a run in the actual playoffs where defensive intensity kicks up a little bit? That's a huge question here, but we'll see what's going to be done for that Lakers team. But I think the Lakers are going to be a team that is on a lot of casual NBA fans' radar, but also NBA purists' radar, to see how well can this team really perform between now and the season. JJ Redick got a lot of offensive talent. The defensive talent is at a net negative, but overall, can they be good enough? Can they just be good enough defensively to go on a little bit of run? And then the Lakers kind of address things on the fly in the offseason, see how much they can fix. But the Lakers are definitely one of those big storylines to watch as well coming out of this. The next one, the Boston Celtics, right? They've been a little bit inconsistent here, and there's a question on, are they playing with their food? Have they been figured out more? Are they going to regain the consistency? I look at the Boston Celtics and say that they're a team that I fully expect the Boston Celtics to be a tough team here for the rest of the way. I think that, when you reach a title, you understand how to pace yourself better, right? And this is a Celtics team that I think they're going to be solid on the offensive end and defensive end leading into the playoffs. I still have them as my favorite to come out the Eastern Conference. But of course, with the way the Cleveland Cavaliers are playing and everything, there's enough to look like that. So, we've seen the best of the Boston Celtics this year, and we've seen the worst of the Boston Celtics so far this season. But overall, even throughout their worst, they still are a team that you cannot take lightly. To predict a different team to make it into at least the Eastern Conference Finals is still something you're like, I like the Knicks, right? But they haven't done it. They don't have the balance of the Boston Celtics. The biggest question is, will the Celtics be fully healthy in the playoffs? And if they are, they're going to be a team to really look out for. Another question about the Eastern Conference playoff team. How good are the New York Knicks really going to be, right? How good are the Knicks going to be? And as Tom Thibodeau, we know that he plays his minutes, his starting 5 huge minutes. Are they going to trust their depth? Is Mitchell Robinson also going to come back? And what do they look like with him coming back into the fold? Does that increase their ceiling even more? So I think that's what you have to look out for with the New York Knicks, but they are definitely a team to look out for here the rest of the way after the second half of the season. And kind of with Mitchell Robinson, the next team that we're going to go out west to is the OKC Thunder. They got Chet back before the All-Star break, which I think is important. Get a couple of games under his belt. Now you've had this extended break in time. What are you going to look like now? How much better do the OKC Thunder look with Chet? How much higher is their ceiling now with Chet? Like, have what we've seen from them, which has already been the best point differential, the best record in the NBA, is it even higher now with Chet Holmgren coming back? And what is their ceiling defensively, right? That's what I'm looking out for the OKC Thunder. So the rest of the way on what this team can turn into, that's definitely a huge part of the rest of the way for the season for them, right? You're getting Chet back, a young player. Some people think even could end up being the best player on that team. So I think that's a huge thing to look out for the rest of the season as well. And then another one that we want to look out for, what do the Philadelphia 76ers do? There's been talk about shutting down Joel Embiid, not even for the remainder of this season, but maybe a little while longer to let him rest. And are the 76ers going to ever wake up and pursue and go on a run to try to get into the playoffs, right? Now, they have no incentive to necessarily do so, but you look at them right now, they are 2.5 games behind the Chicago Bulls for that final 10 seed. But they would have to do so via Paul George hasn't been playing the best. Joel Embiid has not been able to stay healthy. Yes, you have a young player like Tyrese Maxey who has stepped up, shown himself to be the leader. But how this team ends up finishing this season, in the last video I did, I talked about why it's time for the Philadelphia 76ers to potentially look to move on from Joel Embiid, right? And actually start building around Maxey and Jerry McCain and the young draft pick that they have coming in here as well. Do they turn on the Jets at any point in time in the season, which it doesn't take a whole lot? We're talking about a decent 2 weeks, not even extremely hot, but a decent 2 weeks by the Philadelphia 76ers can put them right there in the play-in spot. But the question is that incentive enough for them to get it done in that manner and in that way? I guess we'll see, right? So that's something definitely to look out for as well as we're finishing the season here on what that result ends up being, but definitely on the lookout for it. And then the last thing that we want to talk about as far as what's to look out for for the remaining part of this season is how much do the Dallas Mavericks continue to crash and burn? This is just, I mean, when you look at since Nico Harrison sent Luka Dončić out of there, how that has gone, right, for that team. AD gets hurt in his first game back. They have no healthy centers down there now at all, right? You got Daniel Gafford, Derek Lively, AD, all on the injured reserve list. And some people have said, is it karma for the Dallas Mavericks and for Nico Harrison? Maybe. Hell, does Nico Harrison make it out of this with his job still intact, right? With the ownership and all that type of thing. Check out next time on Dragon Ball Z. But, we'll see what the future holds for him. But that's definitely a big storyline to watch in this one, as well as, like, what does the Mavericks' future really, really look like? Kyrie Irving could become a free agent at the end of this year. Anthony Davis hasn't been healthy. A team that initially came into the season, and people were saying is a team that could make it to the NBA Finals depending on how things shook out. Their whole entire future and trajectory is in a completely different place than what it was expected to be at the start of the season. So what does the future hold for the Mavericks? It's, of course, kind of more of an off-season thing, but looking at the rest of their season is really going to be fun to watch to see from, like, just the aspect of what does it turn into, right? And I guess another team you can look at for that as well, before we go, another storyline to watch out for, the Spurs added De'Aaron Fox at the trade deadline. And now with the Spurs, right, if the Spurs can go on a legitimate run here, right now they find themselves as the 12th seed. They are 3.5 games back of the 10th seed. The Golden State Warriors, another team that's made a move at the trade deadline to bring in Jimmy Butler. What do their two futures look like, right? The Phoenix Suns are right there as well between those two teams. The Sacramento Kings are a team that, they have Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan, but we've kind of seen what that looked like in a weaker conference in the Eastern Conference. But, those type of things. But, the Spurs and that whole play-in race, really, between the Dallas Mavericks at the 8th seed, the Kings at the 9th seed, the Golden State Warriors at the 10th seed, and the Phoenix Suns and the San Antonio Spurs sitting right there at the 11th and 12th seed. What is going to happen with those teams, right? That is a very, very interesting aspect to watch for all of these teams because you just don't know how it's going to shake out and turn out. So I guess that Western Conference playing race from 8 to 10 is going to be really fun to watch because if a team like the Phoenix Suns does get healthy and turn it on, if the San Antonio Spurs with Fox and Wemby go on some type of amazing run, considering all the productive young players they still got down there, the Golden State Warriors can go on a run with adding Jimmy Butler, right? There's a lot of things to be here. As you watch the Dallas Mavericks, as you watch the Kings and their potential to fall out of this race and other teams' potential to come into that race, that's going to be a really fun aspect to watch the rest of the way. So, but the Spurs are really the one I'm looking out for as far as a team because they have the generational talent in Wemby there. They got the coaching. They got De'Aaron Fox. They got Chris Paul still. Stephon Castle, how he's going to build off his All-Star weekend. So there's a huge storyline to watch out there for with the San Antonio Spurs as well. But there's some other ones that we may get into in tomorrow's episode. But let me know what you guys is right now. Whether it's something that I mentioned here or something that I did not mention, what's your favorite storyline to watch the rest of the way from the All-Star break, after the All-Star break to the end of the season? Let me know what you guys think on all that down below in your storyline to watch. Otherwise, make sure you guys are following us at NBA Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, NBA Central Show @gmail.com. And then lastly, if you want to leave a text message and or voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We are the number one spot for everything NBA related and basketball related for that matter. And I'll see you guys the next time I feel like making a video. Probably tomorrow. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Breaks Media.